Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel and welcome to Titliest GT2 driver. I have the GT3 also to test, but let's do the GT2 first. One thing I'd like to say about Titliest straight away is everything that they do when it comes to their metal woods is in disguise. Effectively, there's so much technology in this head. However, it's out of the golfer's eyesight. You would never ever know. It's got to be one of the most sleek, understated drivers on the market today. It just looks really, really tidy. No bells and whistles, no spoilers, no funny colors. It's just a really good looking driver. So used to now having the carbon weave on top, it's really interesting to see a shiny black top. But we have the weight at the back there, stabilizing weight. This is for speed and forgiveness. I have this in the 9-degree head, but I will be testing it at 10.5 degrees for all the testing that I'll do. I will be doing this at 3 different swing speeds, the 80, 95 and 110 miles an hour. Again, if I did this at 9 degrees at 80 miles an hour, the ball won't stay in the air. So doing it at 10.5 degrees is better for more people. And then also, I'm really interested to see how well this works when you look at the forgiveness side of things. I'll be doing my heat map style so you guys can visually see how good this driver is. Right, let's go give it a hit. Down by the golf ball, we have that GT logo and that shiny black crown shining back at me. Oh, that's a miss hit to start with. Low toe. Doing exceptionally well, though slightly right of target line by not much whatsoever, and doing quite well considering not ideal. Club speed 109 miles an hour, club path is 0.7 across and face is just slightly open. I asked the golf ball to go right and it did 9.8 yards off of line, but the strike, 8 mil toe, 11 mil low, nowhere near middle, I think you would agree, but it still hit target. 261 yards of carry is not the longest this golf club's gonna do, I can guarantee that, but it's done well considering the strike and it has hit the fairway. And remember, this golf club does not know where fairway is, it just knows where you've pointed it. So the whole idea of that face is to basically gear that golf ball in the direction which you tell it, and it's done very, very well. Now feeling is so-so, considering obviously I didn't hit the middle. So let's just try a better job of hitting the middle to see how well it actually works and feels, but it's done pretty decent considering that was not good from me. That's slightly more middle, but gone the other way, slightly high toe this time. But as you can see, it's not short. Wow, run out fairway. Club speed 110 miles an hour, club path and face to path matching. I mean, it should have basically finished slightly right of target, but it finished slightly left. That's because of the gearing of the head. It's hit 11 mil toe, 4 mil high, which is a better place to miss it rather than low toe. And it's done much, much better. It's now 280 yards of carry because spin profile now is at 2.2, launched at 15 degrees. It's just working really well. 7 yards, it's hit fairway. That is still not the middle, and it's hit fairway, and it's 20 yards longer. So you can see the difference between hitting slightly high on the face and slightly low. Spin profile is massive. Now, of course, one part of the heat map testing that I do will be looking at the distance potential of this golf club and seeing what happens when you don't hit the middle, how much yardage do you actually lose. Already we can see a potential when you don't hit the middle for it to spin and gear too much, and it takes a little bit of distance off. But 7 yards offline, it's a win. Feeling is actually pretty good. It feels much better slightly high on the face than it does low on the face. But again, let's see if we can do a better job of hitting middle, although by the moment it seems it doesn't actually matter. That seems much more middle-ish, but slightly toey. But it's just really good. That's nearly a line ball. That could actually be, oh, missed out by a fraction. Really very, very good. Club speed 110.2 miles an hour this time, up by 0.1 or so. Club path slightly cross, face to path slightly open, little baby fade dynamics, but I hit it 7 mil toe, 3 mil low, spinning at 2.4 or just slightly over 2.4, but 14 degrees of launch. It's going 279 carry and 0.0 yards offline. You won't be seeing that again today. So 7 mil toe, 3 mil low is much closer to middle, and it does feel rather good. Titliest drivers have always looked good, felt good, worked really well. Obviously, Titliest have always had a little bit more of a it's for the pros kind of reputation, even though they're not. Any golfer could use this. Absolutely they can. It's not the highest of spinning golf clubs. Obviously the GT1 will be a bit more spin orientated, but this one could work really well for many, many golfers. I actually quite like hitting it. I like the fact that I've hit target every single time so far, and it's not exactly short either. 279 carry. For this kind of golf club, that's exactly where I'd expect to hit it. I wouldn't be expecting to get into the sort of mid 280s at this kind of swing speed unless I'm going into the slightly more low spin orientated golf clubs. But as a balance, an absolute win from Titliest here. That's just nice. It really is. I'm really struggling in 2025 to find a bad driver, really. It just works well. Club speed 110 miles an hour, club path is 0 and face is just baby open, but 3.4 yards offline, that is target enough. 6 mil toe, 0 mil low, that's the closest to the middle that I've hit so far, and it does feel really very, very good. Launching at 14.5 degrees and spinning at about 2.5, it's doing pretty darn well for 277 carry. Right, let's go give this a hit all over the face. We've already seen so far that you can hit it from different parts and get away with it. You might get a little distance loss, but we'll see that in the distance factor heat map. Let's also go test this at 80, 95 and 110 miles an hour. Let's go see how good actually the GT2 driver is from Titliest. So to the interesting part, we'll see how well the Titliest GT2 gets on at 3 different swing speeds, see how well it works for different golfers, and also how well it gets on when you don't hit the middle. When you hit weird and wonderful parts of the face, how good is it at retaining the ball speed and also retaining distance when you don't hit the middle? Up on the screen, you can see the 3 different swing speeds. We've got the club head data on the bottom, the ball data on top. We'll do the club head data in a sec, but you can see the red there, which is 80 miles an hour, the yellow, which is 95 miles an hour, and the blue, which is the full-on 110 miles an hour. We'll do the red first, the 80 mile an hour swing. Carry of 191 yards, peaking up at 20 yards in the air, and descent angle at 30 degrees. That is coming into the fairway lovely and shallow, and that is going to bounce, and roll forever. But we've got total spin at 1711, and that, I feel, is not enough. Now 1700 is possibly enough to keep the golf ball in the air. Again, we only swing speed at 80 miles an hour, ball speed 119 or so, so it's going to be absolutely borderline. And so I would really want to see another 400 or 500 RPM of spin on this golf ball to get it around about the 2.2 baseline, because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room when you don't hit the middle. You get a bit of vertical gearing if you hit it slightly high or slightly toe, and it will keep the golf ball in the air. There's no point in chasing the odd 10 yards or so if you're going to lose 40 when you miss hit it. If you go to the yellow, which is the 95 mile an hour swing, you've got a carry of 241 yards, peaking up at 32 yards in the air, and descent angle is 37.8 degrees. Still under the 40 degrees, so that's going to come into the fairway and bounce and roll. And spin now is basically at 2200, 2146, which is a much nicer spin profile from a baseline point of view. Remember, these shots are within reason fairly decent hits, and so so when you don't miss hit it, you are going to affect your ball dynamics. And again, if you hit it slightly high in the face at 2.2 spin, you are going to have a little bit of wiggle room there for possibly getting a little bit more extra yardage from it when you get into the absolute perfect launch window. But again, you want your spin profile baseline to be there to massage your misses, not necessarily hurt you when you miss hit. If you go to the full 110 or so miles an hour, carry distance is 284 yards, peaking up at 42 yards in the air, descent angle at 42.4 degrees, so it is over 40 degrees. I like to see a driver go in under 40 degrees if possible, because it gives you the most chance of bounce and roll. So in this situation, there's also spin of 2.4, slightly too high. This is at a 10.5 degree loft. This is a 9 degree head up to 10.5 degrees. So I absolutely would put it down to 9 degrees. Let's see if we can just get the spin profile down a fraction, which will also make it not peak at height as much, and descent angle would be a little bit shallower. You'd, within reason, carry distance wouldn't be affected that much at all, but you would get much more in the way of bounce and roll, especially in the summertime. Again, in the wintertime, no one's getting much bounce and roll at the moment. But club head speed, you've got the 81.2, 96 and 111.5 within reason. There is your 15 mile an hour jump, some about a mile an hour or so off on every single one, but you've got 15 mile an hour jumps. You've got efficiencies 147, 146, 145, attack angles within 0.4 of a degree, club paths within 0.8 of a degree, and then face we've got within 1.5 degrees or so. But the all-important loft, the loft is the all-important thing for deflection. How much loft are we delivering? 17.2, 17.8, 17.2, so 0.6 of a degree difference in loft. That is it, between 30 miles an hour of club head speed difference. And you've got my face impact, my strike locations on there for you to see. If you're someone who likes a graphical representation better than that of the tablet data, then I've got the information up on there, you can see. Now, the reason why the dispersion rings on the faster swing speed is bigger. The first two that I did, the 80 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour, I've done on smaller data sets, just get enough information to see how well it works. And of course, the 110 mile an hour information is there, and partial inclusion of some of the mishit data, which we will talk about now. So how forgiving is the GT2 from Titliest? Now, we've got two different ways we can measure forgiveness as such. The way the manufacturers would love everyone to measure forgiveness is in ball speed retention from across the face. That's how they generally speaking market it, these drivers being super, super good. Or the more important, the distance factor. How good or how well does a golf club do when you don't hit the middle at keeping the same distance from across the face? We'll do the efficiency first. Let's try and keep the manufacturers happy and understand how good a golf club is. And effectively, you can see on the screen here, you've got a grid, and that effectively says at the top there from 0 to minus 30 on the right hand side, that's the heel, and 30 on the left hand side, which is the toe. And you've got high and also low on there as well. And of course, the middle is the middle, as you can see. And you can see there that you've got the amount of percentages within the grid. That is how much ball speed percentage you lose. So if you lose 1% ball speed, 2% ball speed, 3, 4, 5, etc. And it's a very easy thing to say. You've got a green is good, red is bad, yellow is absolutely fine, orange is so-so. You kind of get the picture. And you can see on this driver, it's amazing. It's a lovely big green blob, and of course from a marketing point of view, if you were to show that, you'd say that this driver is the best driver on the planet. However, you need to understand that there is a difference between ball speed retention and distance factor. Now, because this face is a curved face, is not a flat face like an iron, if this was an iron, it would be amazing. However, it doesn't work that way because these have curved faces, and of course then you start talking about hit high in the face, you're going to launch higher with a little bit less spin, no different to on the bottom of the golf club. There's less loft and you'll get a bit more spin because vertical gearing. And so on the distance factor map, it looks like this. I think you'd agree somewhat considerably different. And you can see there you've got the distinct red pattern when you don't hit the middle. You can see how much spins apply to the golf ball, and of course then that will directly affect how far it goes. So that black square is the geometric middle of the golf club, but that 0 point is the part of the face which goes the furthest, and of course then it radiates out of loss from there. You can see the green blob, green is good, yellow is fine, orange is so-so, and red is bad. Anything red is going to be 10% or more of the distance that you will lose, and absolutely this golf club is very much so more sensitive on the spin side of things. What's causing that red is because of the spin profile change. If you go anywhere on the toe or high, it's amazingly good. You can go slightly low as well on the face, no problem whatsoever. If you go anywhere heel, remember, no golf club on the planet likes being hit out of the heel, so this is very common to see. I'm not picking on the GT2 saying it's rubbish at all, nothing like that whatsoever. I'm just showcasing what happens when you don't hit the middle, especially hit heel and also low. Because of the roll and bulge, you are going to get a certain amount of tilt axis applied, as in gear effect, which means you're going to increase spin and unfortunately lose distance. But effectively you can go 40 mil off the toe and you're still losing around about 8% of your distance. 40 millimeters is fairly toey, I think you'd agree. So if you're a toe striker, high striker or slightly low striker, absolutely this GT2 works very, very well. Conclusion to the GT2 from Titliest. Let's go by looks and feel first. Looks, it is unmistakably Titliest. It looks very clean, it looks very sleek, there's no bells and whistles, there's no funky colours. It does look a very professional, sleek, clean design. Feel-wise, out of the middle and surrounding areas, it feels lovely. Unmistakably Titliest, it just feels a quality product. If you mishit it, there is a little bit of twist in the head. It does feel a little bit. The GT3, what we do after this video, that is very much so more sensitive to feel on that side of things. But the GT2 feels absolutely fine as long as you don't really hit it wacko parts of the face. Performance-wise, I would say from a slow swing speed point of view, just be wary of the spin profile like we we are saying most of the time when we look at the 80 mile an hour and very slow swing speed golfers. You've got to keep an eye on your launch windows, making sure your spin isn't getting too low. And remember, at this speed, guys, if you are dealing with too much spin, that's very much so your swing mechanics, and that's necessarily something I wouldn't be looking into equipment to fix. I'd be looking at fix the swing first, and of course then suiting your equipment to best suit a more neutral delivery. But when you go into a 95 mile an hour swing speed, which is still a half decent swing speed, it's working really, really well. Baseline spin numbers are nearly perfect, and it just works great. Remember, this is at 10.5 degrees setting on the head. And when you go 110 miles an hour, yes, it is 10.5 degrees. And of course, we are getting a fraction too much peak height, etc. But what we do is you just go get that loft, put it back down to 9 degrees standard, or even drop it down a little bit to get your spin profile and get your maximum carry distance, etc. That's the great thing with the loft sleeves that you have on modern day drivers. You can tweak the loft to suit the fitting. And so when it comes to forgiveness of this golf club, you can see if you are a toe striker, if you are a high striker, and if you are slightly low, the GT2 will absolutely do every single thing that it's designed and marketed to do. If you are very low on the face and distinctly heely, test it by all means, but you are going to be losing a lot of distance, as you normally do if you hit it out of the heel. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go on, give it a thumbs up, hit that like button. YouTube likes so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's free. It's great for the channel if you could subscribe, so thank you. And next one is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that will let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.